What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what is really influencing it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, Lucid is down 0.94%, $2.11 the low, $2.20 the high. So a couple of things did come out. One is GDP came in line with expectations. I think generally the market really did like that, and that's what really drove it higher. And then right now, PCE just came out, and on a month-over-month basis, it came in line with expectations. Year over year, it was a little bit hotter. So that's not what the market wanted to see. So as a byproduct, you are seeing a pullback. So not necessarily the best. So I don't know if that's going to really affect this, because going into PCE, there was a 70% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut for the December 18th meeting. So that might, in theory, go down. But today, no actual news associated to the company, no SEC filings. A couple things unofficially did come out. So you have Lucid Oasis, which is a wealth of knowledge associated to Lucid, did allude to, I guess, 2 new studios popping up, one in San Jose, the other one in Rutherford, New Jersey. So both in the States, and both opening spring 2025. So at least Lucid is a little bit more self-aware where their target market is, because yeah, I don't think they're having all that much success in Canada nor Europe. And that's just my own opinion, but I think that has to do with Lucid itself and whatever crap they're doing behind the scenes, because I've brought up time and time again the fact that they tack on a extra 10%, just, I don't know, for currency conversion, and then they tack on 10% for whatever reason. But I don't think anyone is willing to pay 10% more for a vehicle when, I don't know. I don't know if Lucid's trying to pocket that, or whoever's administering it behind the scenes, they're the culprit. But I think that is really going to be affecting demand, and that's resemblant based on the fact that Lucid hasn't really done that many new studios in Europe nor in Canada. So at least Lucid's more self-aware of where their target market is. The only other thing I wanted to bring up is, speaking of Europe, is this. So Lucid to launch Sapphire variant in Europe in Q1 2025. So maybe I was just ignorant and I was assuming that the Sapphire was already in Europe, but I don't see this being a good catalyst to buy Lucid whatsoever, because the Sapphire, yes, it is a phenomenal vehicle, good for marketing purposes based on the technology, but I don't realistically see anyone buying it. And this is why you don't see any random pictures on social media like, hey, I saw a Sapphire on the road, because nobody's really buying it. Nobody's buying a $250,000 vehicle. And especially in Europe, if you're going to tack on an extra 10%, nobody at all, especially with everything so, for the most part, closer in proximity in Europe. You don't need to go 205 miles an hour, maybe down the Autobahn, possibly, but yeah, it is what it is. I think just Lucid has a very good product, just they need to realize their target market, and I think that's going to come with time. So let me know your thoughts on that. But aside from that, Lucid's actual social media page has been rather just blah, nothing really crazy, no real catalysts. So the next big thing is just the Gravity. A couple of people are speculating on how the Gravity is getting pushed back, and I think that's just last minute fears, last minute jitters, just because we haven't heard anything. So Lucid has roughly about 3 or 4 weeks. I did a video, I don't remember when, like a week ago, just on some realistic expectations on when they will unveil it, because of the holiday season, and especially market closed tomorrow as well as half on Friday. They're not going to unveil it this week, and so most likely I think their opportunity to unveil the Gravity production and kick that off will be the following 2 weeks, but it's all going to come down to Lucid. So let me know your thoughts on that. As of right now, shorts are returning 586,000 shares. 24.81% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 295.84 million shares overall being shorted. Cost of borrow average 1.24. Utilization is 86.28. So it's good to see shorts returning. That's with Lucid being red today, kind of shows that it's not really justified. So that's why I like to analyze that type of information. But aside from that, looking at options, 94,000 in calls, 57,000 in puts. So dollar value getting into options is rather low, matching with common stock. So pretty much people are just kind of sitting on the sidelines. But 53% of all the options being done are optimistic and bullish. So relatively good stuff for that. Looking right over here of the call options that are being purchased, so you see a kind of renewed optimism. So for it to be above $3, and then looking at the bears, you are anticipating for it to be sub $2. So kind of interesting. Based on this though, algorithmic trading is what is really moving Lucid, because you only see one transaction on the secondary market above $100,000, and regrettably it was a sell for $570,000. So big money is not really buying the dip with Lucid today. So they're just, like I said, just sitting on the sidelines or kind of rotated into possibly crypto, but that's just my own speculation. But right now with it at $2.12, it is right below this S1. So just watch for it to fight and stay above that. If not, then this is where you could see a further breakdown based on the technicals. Quickly popping over to IBKR, I have the ALMA, 5100, 200-day moving average, super trend, stochastic RSI, and MACD. So MACD is looking relatively optimistic. Stochastic RSI, it does suck the fact that Lucid's been somewhat defying what the market's been really putting out and really wanting with Lucid. So this is why you have had a lot of buying, even though you haven't seen it move up significantly in price. It's caused it to get overbought. So stochastic RSI is rather overbought, so not the best, and this is why you'll probably see a continued amount of volatility in the foreseeable future, but it is sitting exactly on that ALMA. So you have that 214 as a strong fib level, and then $2.12 is that ALMA. So essentially, if Lucid does kind of break below that, then you'll see that continued pull down. Maybe a kind of a similar scenario to what happened at the very beginning of November. So it did show some signs of it wanting to go up and then just didn't really work out. Then you kind of had a next leg down. So that might be coming out for Lucid. We'll just have to, I guess, wait and see. But as of right now, though, no new analyst ratings, nothing like that. So it's just stuck in limbo. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid in the comments below. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying, if you've been selling. What have you been doing with Lucid? And do you think that this is a good catalyst for Lucid, the fact that Sapphire is going to be launched in Europe, or do you think that's just unnecessary? So what's your viewpoint? If anything, actually, speaking of Europe, I think they should really integrate and move into the UK. There's a lot of big money there, just Lucid's very, very behind the gun. And it's kind of interesting the fact that they kind of pride themselves as being very tech oriented, but they haven't really moved the steering wheel over. So I don't know what's a hold up with all that behind the scenes. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. One final thing I wanted to share with you, I did launch a Patreon where I'm giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. And this is where I've done a full explanation on why I feel crypto is going to be running. And so far, even when I put it out last night, it's already up. Many of them that I called out, up like 20%. So definitely worth to take a look. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.